did my research on the Persian Gulf War. The cause of this war was that Saddam Hussein was in debt, and the Iraqi nation was in debt due to the Iraq-Iran war, and he wanted control of Kuwait's oil reserves. When Kuwait didn't want to give those oil reserves up and help and join Iraq, then Saddam Hussein decided to annex and attack Kuwait. Iraq took a big financial hit when the prices of oil dropped, and they blamed the prices dropping on Kuwait, and this is what caused Iraq and Saddam Hussein to decide to attack Kuwait. And now I'm going to hand it over to my correspondent, Ben.
Well, hello, and thank you, Ben. You see, Hussein wanted $10 million to make up for the deficit he took when oil prices dropped. He blamed the oil prices on Kuwait, and when they offered $9 million instead of $10 million, Hussein saw this as an insult. It was the last straw. Hussein attacked Kuwait, dropped the first bomb on Kuwait City on August 2nd, 1990. Back to you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. It was an unfair battle as Kuwait's army was only 16,000 strong, and the Iraq army was 955,000 strong, so it was a little unfair. By the end of the first day, Iraq had most full control of Kuwait. The U.S. wasted no time setting up a meeting with the UN Security Council. U.S. troops were sent on Operation Desert Storm to help out Kuwait. When Kuwait called for it, they knew they needed as much allies as they could get. The first bomb from America was dropped on January 17, 1991. The war lasted for about 6 months. And let's tell them about the media coverage, Ben.
I'll do that. Thanks, Ben. The first time war was ever shown on TV was the Gulf War. Bombs were being shown, missiles striking, U.S. Air Force jets were taking off from aircraft carriers on TV for you to watch in your living room. Tom Brokaw of NBC was actually the first to announce that the air attack had begun. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you. CNN made a name for itself in this war. They were the only ones to get Iraq to let them set up a audio circuit in the Al Rashid Hotel, which is shown there. So when all the other networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC were down, CNN was still up, giving information to the public. And now I'll send it back over to you for the history of the networks.
Thanks, Ben. You see, it wouldn't be a complete research unless you dug in and find out about these major networks. All the major networks, excluding CNN, which went straight to cable, were all radio networks to start out. NBC, CBS, ABC all started out as radio. They soon had shows, sitcoms on TV, but they're still known for their news. Ben, tell them about the people involved.
I'll do that. George H.W. Bush was the 41st President of the United States. His goal was to create a kinder and gentler nation, going back to the biblical ways of the forefathers. He was the youngest pilot in the Navy in his time. After his military career, he settled down with the College of Texas A&M, got married, had 6 kids, and one of those kids was George W. Bush, who became our 43rd president. Saddam Hussein was born in Iraq. He had family issues growing up. His father left him at an early age, and his stepfather was brutal to him. Some may say that this is why he became such a brutal dictator. He was introduced to politics by his uncle, and he joined the assassination squad of the Ba'ath Party. After his attempt on the prime minister of Iraq, he went to hiding in Syria, and was eventually allowed back to Iraq when the Ba'ath Party took control of Iraq. The Ba'ath Party was overthrown. Saddam Hussein was thrown in jail, and he did not escape until 1966, and he became vice president of the Ba'ath Party. He grew power. In 79, became the president of Iraq, and he became a brutal dictator. Found and captured in 2003, and given back to his people to be hanged. He was found by U.S. troops in Iraq in a hole. Now, we wouldn't be doing these people right if we didn't tell them about the state of Kuwait, Ben.
You're so right, Ben. The state of Kuwait is a sovereign Arab state. It got its name, Kuwait, meaning fortress built near water. Under the rule of the Sadat family since 1756, they wanted its independence from the UK in 1961. Kuwait struck oil after its gaining its independence from the UK and has since become the 11th richest country in the world with the 5th largest reserve of oil in the world. Why don't you go ahead and wrap this thing up, Ben?
I'll do that. So the ethical issues. Oh, sorry, that's not part of the playlist. I didn't know that was the play. Part of the ethical issues involved were that whether or not the TV stations should show the war and the violence on television. Okay. Trust surfing. But digging deeper into my research, I found that there was a deeper ethical issue involved in just showing the violence on TV. Was that the ethical issue of human beings and portraying them the way we do in our world and our society. This was, of course, America versus Iraq, and so we as Americans are, of course, going to go for the home side. And the news coverage was definitely pro-America because we're in America, it's not going to change, and that's the way it should be. But the way that the news was portraying it as a marvel, and they use words like extraordinary, and the way we went in there and just attacked them. And really, when you think about it, the way that they portrayed the war on TV was very Hollywoodistic, if you will, and like planes taking off, all cool-like, and we saw flashes and bombs and that sort of thing. And what we didn't see was how brutal the attacks were on the Iraqi people. Yes, they were our enemy, but again, I think the ethical issue comes down to whether we as a society should know about how human beings are brutally killing other human beings and how our media doesn't portray that and likes to water it down. So, any questions?
Comments, questions, feedback? Okay, thank you.